Hello everyone, and I have a very beautiful chess game to show you, once again by Bobby Fischer. So in this chess game, Bobby Fischer had the white pieces and his opponent was John Owen. So don't confuse this John Owen with the John Owen from England who played a match against Paul Morphy. Actually, he also played some chess games against Wilhelm Steinitz and some important chess players like Adolf Anderssen in 1850s, 60s, a very strong romantic chess player from the romantic era of chess. He passed away in 1901, an important figure in the history of chess, John Owen. But this was John C. Owen, and he was American and an unknown chess player, and this chess game was played in a chess simul, a 55-board chess simul from the United States in 1964. So Bobby Fischer had the white pieces and his opponent John Owen had the black pieces. So let's see, John Owen was one of the 55 opponents of Bobby Fischer. A very nice chess game. So Fischer starts the game with e4, and we have the Caro-Kann defense, the Breyer variation of the Caro-Kann. So takes, pushing the pawn, developing the bishop, asking a question, giving up the bishop, just like that. Knight to f6, bishop to d3, so developing the pieces. And then c3, maybe b4 is possible. So a5, a4, queen to c7, and Fischer goes back. And then black also castled. g4 by Bobby Fischer. So he can also potentially unpin this f-pawn, and he can also push the f-pawn in some variations, and that is going to be a very dangerous attack maybe from the king side. So we have h6 and then knight to c4. So Bobby Fischer's idea is actually this: knight to e3 and then knight to f5, and this f5 square is going to be a very strong point for the knight, a very beautiful parking spot for the knight. So we can say that this knight is going to be very annoying. So this is Bobby Fischer's idea. So rook over and knight to e3. Capturing the knight is possible, but that is going to give white the bishop pair. So black didn't want to give the bishop pair with capturing the knight with his dark square bishop. So we have g6, stopping knight to f5 idea. Queen to f3 and bishop goes back. Maybe it looks like black is defending his h-pawn. So if moving the knight, the bishop was going to aim on h6. So we have king to h2. Fischer wants to play rook to g1. And we have bishop to g7 and rook to g1 as planned. So knight to f8, and this was a very passive move. So maybe black wants to play knight to e6 and activate his knight. But actually, a computer engine told me that knight to c5 should have been considered. And this was a passive move. And Bobby Fischer played a very exciting move, the first exciting move of this chess game. His hippity hop knight is hopping in on f5, knight to f5. And this is looking very annoying. So this is a very beautiful parking spot for the knight, and black can't let this knight stay on f5. So you can see that a knight takes bishop is possible, king takes knight, I believe, and then bishop takes on h6 and capturing this knight, deflecting the king, or simply capturing on h6, bishop takes on h6, a very annoying knight. So black can't let this knight stay on f5, and black captured the knight. And how would you recapture it in this position? With the e-pawn or with the g-pawn? A very simple question. Of course with the g-pawn, and Bobby Fischer opens the g-file, and okay, he is a piece down, but it looks like he is going to get the compensation very soon. So one of the immediate threat is bishop takes on h6, and white can also play alternatively queen to g3 or queen to g2, and how to defend this pinned piece. So unpinning the bishop and not allowing bishop takes on h6, but Fischer played queen to g3, and this is very difficult. So threatening checkmate, and how to defend. Black played knight to e6. If knight to h5, then queen to g4. So if moving the knight back, then queen takes bishop checkmate. So this is actually a very difficult position. So we have knight to e6, defending the bishop but sacrificing the knight and opening the queen, and queen is defending the bishop, but white has a very simple move, check, king goes back, and then simply capturing on h6. So Bobby Fischer is getting back the material, plus he has one extra pawn and he has the attack, and the king is exposed. The king's safety has been compromised. A very beautiful attack by Bobby Fischer. So we have bishop takes bishop actually. What else? Threatening bishop takes in that position. In this position, if rook to g8, then bishop to c4 is possible, which is a very good move. So we have bishop takes, and how would you recapture it? Would you capture the bishop or the knight? What would you do in this position? Well, if you said I would capture the bishop, that is the wrong move, but even that is winning for white. But then black can block with the knight and white's attack is fading away. But white is still better, of course. The king's safety is still compromised. But Bobby Fischer captured the knight and this is stronger. We have bishop to g7, of course. What else? I mean, if moving the king, this is getting checkmated by force. Check, and a very elementary checkmate, very simple checkmate. So capturing the knight is stronger. You can't move the king, you can't block with the queen. So bishop to g7 is, I believe you can agree that, the only move, and then check, the only sensible move, king to g8, and now what? Can you see the next move of Bobby Fischer? He played a very nice move. In this position, actually, white is winning by force. Okay, rook takes bishop, smashing in with the rook. A hammer blow. Rook takes on g7 by Bobby Fischer. And king takes is the only sensible move, but even this is losing. If king over, of course, queen to h8, and that is going to be checkmate if king over. So after rook takes on g7, king takes on g7 is a must. Because if queen takes on g7, then rook to g1, pinning and winning. So rook takes, king takes, and then rook to g1, king to f8, not king to f7, because this is also getting checkmated for black. So king to f8, then we have check, king to e7, and this is winning the queen by force. King takes and queen to g7, check, and bishop to c4, attacking the f-pawn, and Fischer played queen to h6, another very precise move. So threatening check and also attacking on e6. So we have rook takes on f2, king to g3, and we see double threat, both attacking on e6 and also attacking the rook. So defending the rook, and then Bobby Fischer captures the pawn, king to c5, and it looks like white can't capture this pawn because then king takes bishop, but Bobby Fischer indeed captured that pawn. A very nice move. We have king to b6. Can you see Bobby Fischer's idea in this position? Because if king takes bishop, then actually this is a winning pawn endgame, converting this winning pawn endgame. Queen to d4 check, king to b3, and then capturing the rook. And this pawn endgame is easily winning for white. So king takes on b2, but then white is going to push the pawn and white is much faster. White is promoting the queen first. So this is easily winning for white as well. So okay, king to c5 and Bobby Fischer captured the pawn. This is why he's sacrificing the bishop, but funny enough, black played king to b6 and then black immediately resigned after Bobby Fischer's next move, queen to d4. Check, because actually, funny enough, he is running into the same problem. This is forking the king and the rook. Funny, very funny, because the possible continuation is very similar. So moving the king and then capturing the rook, and this is even worse because white is 2 pawns up with a piece, with an extra piece. So, okay, what do you think about this chess game of Bobby Fischer, one of the unknown, rare chess games of the legend Bobby Fischer, the 11th world chess champion? So, okay, I hope you have enjoyed watching this chess game, and maybe one day I will also show an interactive chess game of the real John Owen from 1850s, 1860s, one of the leading chess players at the time, a very strong chess master from England. But this was a different John Owen, an American chess player, and Bobby Fischer easily defeated his opponent with a very entertaining chess. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Take care and bye bye.